I'm going to be working with Castor on some cue discrimination. We're going to be targeting some cones. I'm going to be asking him to go forward, to stop, and then to target these cones. So I'm just going to set up these cones in his pasture here. I do have an around the round pen in my arena, but it's being worked on right now, so I'm just going to do it in his pasture here. And I like to do just like different exercises in different locations too, so he's not so stuck in one place. Like I'll do this in the yard, I'll do this in the round pen as well. Um, he's still eating here. I was going to ask him to go, and then I forgot my target. I'm going to use that instead. It just makes it a little bit more clear for him, especially since he's done this before, but it's been a little bit, and he's still pretty green at it. We're still working on things. So I'm just going to let him finish eating here. I just give him some food to munch on while I set up the cone so he's not trying to throw behaviors at me while I'm trying to set up this exercise, because then we're just both going to get confused and frustrated. So it's just easier to just throw him some free food here and then let him hang out and have something to do while I set this up. So I'm going to ask him to go forward. So I tell him walk on, crashes through the first cone here. And then I'm going to show him the cone, and then he targeted it. So I'm going to be mixing a little bit. So I'm going to be asking him to go forward and then target. So I might not just always click the go forward. I might do go forward and then target like you just saw here. So this time I asked him to stop. So I'll click him for stopping, and then I'll ask him to target. So there's a little bit of like, I'll ask him to go forward, I'll ask him to stop, I'll ask him to target, mixing it up a little bit. And then if he gets stuck, like here he keeps asking, or he starts targeting, I'm just gonna ask him to go forward. And that looks really nice. But I want him to discriminate between each separate cue. Like here I'm asking him to target, a click when he touches it. I want him to go forward on walk on, and then I want him to stop on whoa, and then target when I say target. So I ask him to walk on, and I'm saying walk on, and then I am presenting my target, and he should be starting to walk like as before I present the target. But if he starts like just not going forward, I don't want to wear out my walk on cue. I don't want it to become walk on means stand still. So then I will go back to presenting the target, and as soon as he goes forward, I'll say walk on, so that he's paired that cue with the behavior. But at this point, he should be knowing what the walk on cue is. So I'm asking him to target. He's very new at the targeting. He's pretty solid with the walk on and the whoa. It's the targeting that we really need to work on, and adding that into this, because he does know how to target, but it's not super solid as far as the other cues go. And I really have to exaggerate my cues for him too, and then he'll just get confused. He'll want to target too much. So I'm asking him to whoa again here. Because my cue to target right now is I'll stand by the cue, like right here I'm leaning down, I'll say target, and he's pretty good at that. But I really would like him to go off of just the target cue. That is my goal. It's not necessarily my goal for this lesson, but is my goal, so that once I'm under saddle, I can ask him to target something from his back with just the voice cue, and he'll go ahead and do that for me. So that's my end plan here. I'm asking him to target here, and he does, and he's getting pretty good at this, honestly. Like, this isn't too bad. And it kind of sounds like ridiculous, or looks ridiculous, if I'm asking to walk on here, if I'm asking him to go around in a circle and touch cones. But once I'm under saddle, he'll have a voice cue for walk on, a voice cue for stopping, and a voice cue for whatever I'm riding him. I can ask him to target something. So it's going to be very handy, especially in the beginning when I'm asking him to go from one cone to another. And that's going to build my forward movement, and then that's going to build my my go forward cues. So ask him to go forward here. We're just going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm just gonna target here. You can see my exaggerated cue. He's like, so I'll pause. He was a little distracted. I'll pause, and then I'll ask again. And I'll reward him. And sometimes, like if he's chewing, he'll be like looking at something, and then he just doesn't respond. So he's got some latency there, which I don't love, but it's a decent reason for it, because he's like, I'm chewing, I'm busy, so I need to probably feed him a little bit smaller handful. And he's still really good. Like I asked him to target here, and he went ahead and did that right away. So I think it's more, oh, I'm just like trying to chew, versus, oh, I don't understand. So I think that's more of where that's coming from. And I gotta be careful of him not always just going forward, that I'm rewarding him for standing as well and for stopping, because he does have a tendency to want to go forward too much. And I probably could have rewarded a little bit more for standing, but since I was rewarding for the targeting, he did pretty good. Like, this is the only time he's walked off. Like here, he just got confused and thought he should walk forward instead of target. I'll just give him a pause, and then I will ask again. You can see I'm pointing to the cone here. If you can kind of see between his front legs, I was pointing down to the cone. I just kind of gave him a pose. I was like, nope, that's not the right behavior. And then I'll go ahead and re-ask him, re-cue him. So once his feet were done shifting, I'm just gonna click and feed him for standing still there because he did want to walk off. Again, I should have probably added in a little bit more standing, like reinforcing for standing. That was my fault on this training exercise, which I have a tendency to do, is reward too much standing and going and doing things. But he did really well. I think that helped because I was doing a lot of the targeting and I'm doing a lot of the whoa as well. But I do need to watch that in the future. But he's doing really well with that cue discrimination.